story of a survivor is about Goku's lost year on the titular planet. After his battle with Frieza, Goku is facing an exploding planet Namek and has no means of escape, until he finds a random Saiyan space pod nearby. After punching in the preset coordinates, Goku loses consciousness as the spaceship travels to its intended destination. After simultaneously crash landing and destroying his space pod, Goku plummets to the planet below. To his surprise, Goku then wakes up in an alien hospital with one of the locals greeting him about 4 inches from his face. The local explains that her name is Nori, which is another word for glue, and that Goku is on planet Yardrat. Nori simply enough explains that Goku's presence has startled the entire planet, as they are pacifists and do not wish to fight. Goku explains that that will not be a problem and he only wants to get back home. Nori gives Goku some fresh clothes to wear and bashfully covers their eyes. The Yardranian exclaims that outfit is quite delightful on you. I think I found my Prince Charming, as diamonds sparkle around them. The alien then pines for Goku to kiss them, and Goku's having none of that. As Goku makes a break for it, Nori teleports to his location and paralyzes them with telekinesis, much similar to Goldo. The Yardranian then kicks Goku right in the face. Lying on the ground, Goku can only laugh and say it looks like Chi-Chi's turned into a Yardrat. Nori then tells Goku, "No matter where you go, I'll find you. You can't hide from me, my love." Just then, another Yardranian appears and tells Nori to leave that stranger alone. Nori tells Goku that she'll see him soon, and then disappears. The new Yardrat apologizes for her attitude, but says Goku must come with him now, teleporting them both to a distant location to meet up with yet another Yardrat, this one appearing to be a warrior of some sort. The Yardrat asks Goku if he is with the Ginyu Force, to which of course Goku declines these accusations. It then dawns on Goku that it must have been one of their ships that he commandeered. Goku further explains that they came to Namek and he defeated them before one of his allies, Vegeta, killed them all. The Yardrat can't believe the Ginyu Force were defeated and asks who Goku is. Goku explains that he's merely a Saiyan from Earth. That's impossible, the Saiyans were destroyed years ago by a meteor strike. And if Goku's alive, that means he must haven't met the tyrant of the universe yet. And Goku remarks, "Oh, you mean Frieza?" Goku then details that it was probably the most difficult battle of his entire life. They destroyed the planet, but he managed to survive. The alien then expresses his gratitude for taking out these threats and then further explains that he is actually from one of Yardrat's cousin planets and his name is Soba. One day, the Ginyu Force landed on Soba's home planet and exterminated the population. Soba fought it with everything he had and was able to even kill one of the members, but the rest overwhelmed him and left him for dead. Soba managed to reach Yardrat in one of the ships they left behind. The Yardrats avoided being exterminated by Frieza's family by offering spacecraft maintenance services. It was a fragile peace at best, but Soba knew that one day, the Yardrat people would once again be in danger, and he had to become stronger to protect them. Soba then thanks Goku on behalf of all the Yardratian people for freeing them. That's when Goku takes the opportunity to ask Soba to teach him that teleportation technique. But alas, only the wisest of their people are allowed to teach teleportation. And so Goku's off to find who he needs to find. After hours of searching for this wise man, Goku decides to take a rest. Meanwhile, in outer space, King Cold sips at his wine as this punk-ass, rat-faced, weasel, punk-ass Yardratian appears. King Cold then asks who he is to disturb him. Yardrat greets the king and apologizes for the intrusion, but he has some very important information to pass along. A few days ago, a stranger crashed on their planet and he appeared to be on a ship belonging to the Ginyu Force. The stranger identified himself as a Saiyan and claimed to have defeated the Ginyus. The pompous king then declares the Ginyu Force would have done well to focus more on their training than indulge in their lust and their dramatic flair. The Yardrat then exclaims the same could also be said for Lord Frieza. "What? Frieza defeated by a lowly Saiyan monkey? Impossible!" The king's wine crashes to the ground as the Yardrat trembles in terror. King Cold vows revenge and then executes the messenger, immediately charting a course for planet Namek. Back on Yardrat, Goku senses out a mysterious key. Believing this could be the wise old man, he decides to try and flush him out. Although a little annoyed, the old man confirms this and tells Goku to follow him. Goku says he has something to take care of really fast and he'll be right back. Having a complete Deadpool moment and breaking the fourth wall, Goku jumps out of the comic strip and yells at the author that he doesn't agree with what he's drawing. He already put a hysterical female Yardratian in the story, and now he has a stupid bandage on his face for some reason. You better fix this stuff or I'm quitting right now. Sobbing, the author says he'll get right on it. Back in the cave, aka the home of the wise old man, he cooks Goku some dinner and remarks that Goku is rather strange. Goku replies that he could say the same thing about the Yardrats, but they have some pretty amazing abilities. Say, why don't you tell me more about them, Grandpa? Grandpa, no, my name is Hushu. The wise old man further explains that he was the one that taught the others those abilities, and without him, the entire planet would have been doomed. He defended the Yardrats against invaders that would come seeking to colonize their planet, or coveted their teleportation techniques. He continued in this manner until the day he met Soba. He felt that he had the makings of a leader, so after a while, he let him take his place. But after the wise old man had found out that Soba had abdicated his responsibilities after facing the Ginyu Force, he felt tremendous shame, believing it had been him that made an error in judgment, after which he exiled himself to this region. Goku enlightens the old man, well, at least you don't have to worry about the Ginyu Force anymore. Eternally grateful, the old man asks Goku how he can ever thank him. Well, how about a match? And the old man agrees. He puts up a pretty good fight, even taunting Goku at first. The old man whips out the multiform technique, which forces Goku to do a Kaioken. Then suddenly, the old man grabs his chest and falls to the ground. Goku asks, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" The old man explains that he forced himself a little bit too much, and this has been happening for a few years now. He just needs to go home and rest. A while later, back in outer space. Your Majesty, planet Namek has indeed been totally destroyed. Look, sire, isn't that your son on the screen? King Cold takes a look for himself, and indeed it is Frieza. He orders his men to put Frieza in the ship and get him in a rejuvenation chamber, and then hits King Cold that Yardrat was telling the truth. And he orders his men to send a squadron to the planet Yardrat and have them kill that Saiyan on sight. And if they can't do it, he'll rip the head off that filthy monkey himself. A couple days pass and said squadron lands on planet Yardrat. The old man tells Goku that his people stand no chance against this force, and if that he'll defeat him, he'll teach him the teleportation technique. Amidst destroying a planet, the cavalry comes and tries to stop King Cold's men, who announce their names as Yamori, Shamo, and Shima. The villains further explain that they're the elite special guard of King Cold, and the Emperor of the Universe has ordered them to destroy everything on this planet. Without wasting any time, the Special Forces kill many of the locals. Enraged, Soba attacks Shamo. The fight rages on for a short while, but Soba stands no chance. Shamo demands to know where the Saiyan is hiding. Soba replies that he has no idea. The Special Forces don't like this answer, and the beating continues. Right before the Special Forces execute Soba, our promiscuous little friend teleports him to safety. She goes on to explain that we have come to help you. Wait a minute, we? And sure enough, Goku's already out on the battlefield and vows that they're gonna pay for what they've done to these people. It finally comes full circle that this is the Saiyan that defeated Lord Frieza. Soba dismisses the rest of his allies and says that he and Goku will take it from here. Goku demands to know who sent you to kill me, and the Special Forces explain King Cold, the father of Frieza. After enough talking, Goku decides more or less to take on all three Special Force members at the same time, even telling Soba to just step out of the way. While the Special Force members prove themselves to be even more powerful than the Ginyu Force, they still don't appear to stand a chance against the mighty Super Saiyan. Just then, Yamori transforms into a vile lizard creature. Shamo suggests that maybe they should go help their comrade, but Shima replies this Saiyan is amazing to watch and she just wants to enjoy it. Using a Kaioken Kamehameha combo, Goku completely overpowers the transformed Yamori. That's when Shamo lets out a high-pitched frequency that sends Goku to the ground paralyzed. Despite Goku's pleas, Soba comes to help. Yamori, missing both of his legs from the knee down and his right arm from the elbow down, picks himself up from the rubble. The other two members of the Special Forces take their advantage over Goku and start beating him while he's still dizzy. Shamo has his boot on the back of Goku's head and is prepared to crush him. Suddenly, Hushu speaks to him telepathically and tells him to think of the innocents that are gonna die if you don't stop these monsters. And Goku's able to deliver a kick to Shamo's chin, sending him flying backwards. Shamo once again tries to incapacitate Goku, but it doesn't work this time. Goku tells him to just stay down, and Shima gets the high ground and says she won't let a filthy Saiyan tell her what to do. She sends an enormous ki blast barreling down to the planet, and Goku has no time to move. At the last minute, he busts out yet another Kaioken and sends the blast flying back up into space, taking Shima with it. However, it appears Shima's part of a race that can survive in space, and Goku can still sense her ki. Shima thinks to herself, what colossal might! This Saiyan is far too powerful for us. If this Saiyan really did manage to beat Lord Frieza, then why would King Cold think we could beat him? Either way, we accomplish our mission or die. Back on Yardrat, Shamo and Goku begin to go at it as Yamori and Soba look on. Soba tells him that if he wishes to fight the Saiyan, he'll have to get past him first. And given his present condition, he doesn't think that'll be a very fair fight. Then Yamori reveals that he only needs a couple more minutes and he'll be able to completely regenerate his lost limbs, in which case Soba will pose no challenge. Soba states that he's ready to give his life to allow Son Goku to destroy him. Yamori takes that as his cue and quickly gets the upper hand on Soba. Thinking to himself, Soba knows he only has one chance to win this battle, and it's with a technique that didn't even work on the Ginyu Force. But it's the only chance he has. 4 copies of himself appear behind him in what appears to be the multiform technique. While Soba uses the multiform, Goku handles his own business. Yamori leaps into the air, vowing to end this right now. He fires a ki attack at the onlookers below, before using his tail to pierce Soba's chest. Still standing, one of the Yardranians tells Nori that he's gonna need her for the next attack, as Soba tells Goku not to interfere as this is his fight. Goku understands and complies. Using the same telekinesis technique as Goldo, Soba blasts a hole in the alien invader. As his life fades, Yamori has these closing thoughts. I was the last survivor of my people. My entire race was wiped out by a band of intergalactic warriors. When I was eventually recruited to serve as part of King Cold's private guard, I could not have been prouder. But all my hopes I had of rising from the ashes of my people's demise, to become something greater than all of them in their honor, have been sucked into the void. It seems the tapestry of my life has come to an end on this backwater planet. I feel so ashamed. Forgive me, my king. Shima abruptly returns, wishing Yamori peace and his eternal rest. Shamo tells her that she'll have to wait her turn. He's the one fighting the Saiyan right now. Putting him in his place, she tells the weary warrior to shut up as Goku's been whooping him this entire fight. Instead, she tells him to focus on the Yardrats. Shamo complies but vows to take the fight back when he's done. As Shamo heads off, Shima tells Goku that he's not going anywhere until he defeats her. But Goku says she isn't worth it. The Yardrats know they are no match, but hope to buy just enough time until Goku can reach them, who is quickly getting the upper hand in his match. Soba just about gets in a good hit when Shima yells for Shamo to look out. Instead of being a direct hit, it only grazes the villain. This leaves Soba out of energy. Taking to the sky, Shamo plans to finish the downed Yardrat, but Goku isn't about to let that happen, jumping in the way protecting him. Goku tells Soba to rest up, and he'll take it from here. Goku takes on both the invaders at once, matching them blow for blow. Shamo proclaims that the Saiyan is strong, but even he won't survive their ultimate attack. Performing what they call their Thunder Eagle technique, a wave of ki descends from the sky. They believe it to have disintegrated our hero, but in fact, he was saved by one of the Yardrat's instant transmission. Resuming the fight, Goku quickly gets in a few good hits, but Shamo finds out how Goku was able to survive, killing Goku's savior without hesitation. Goku sees the same evil in Shamo as he did in Frieza, and relates the death of Nori to that of Krillin. Letting his Saiyan rage flow, he transforms into a Super Saiyan for only the second time. With one punch, he brings Shamo to a knee. And unlike with Frieza, he erases them without thinking twice. With Shima, however, Goku offers one last chance to leave unless she would like to see the same fate. Leaving her own power to be superior, she fires a ki attack at her adversary, which Goku doesn't even bother to dodge. Arising to her feet, she declares herself the winner. But as the dust clears, we see Goku isn't even phased. With a single kick, he takes her to the ground. Goku offers her yet another chance to leave if she values her life. One of the elder Yardranians tells Goku to finish her while he still has the chance. But we all know that's not Goku's style. As Goku explains, a lot of his enemies have become allies. Regardless, he'll stick around and intervene if she comes back. Shima takes off, but tells our hero not to expect a thank you, leaving planet Yardrat once again at peace. Falling out of Super Saiyan, Goku collapses. The elder asks him what's the matter. And it turns out he's just hungry. It looks like Soba's going to make it as the attack ball fires up into space. She thinks to herself, I've always trained to be a great warrior in order to defend oppressed people, but I had to suppress that desire the day the space pirates conquered my planet. The men were exterminated and the women enslaved. We were sold, tortured and humiliated. With every passing day, my anger grew. Eventually, I couldn't bear to live like that anymore. My rage overflowed. I destroyed my oppressors with the help of a powerful king. King Cold and I shared a common enemy. That's how he recruited me to be the leader of his elite squadron. That day, I thought I was finally free. Even if I did not share King Cold's ideologies, at least I could fight. But after seeing the Saiyan fighting with such conviction, to save a race he barely knew, I remembered the goal I had originally set for myself. I'm going to have to drop off the grid. King Cold will never forgive me for failing this mission. The Yardrat people were busy rebuilding the damage caused by Cold's elite squadron. Even Goku helped. Meanwhile, Soba was recovering from his injuries. We soon see him reading a letter. Dear Soba, I'm writing this letter to you because I fear I've done something unforgivable. I know why Cold's elite squadron attacked our world. It's because I told them the Saiyan was taking refuge here. I was terrified that if I didn't tell him, he would kill all of our people as an example for his other subjects. I couldn't risk breaking his trust, especially after the backroom bargain you made with the Ginyu Force. I need you to understand. I truly believed what I was doing was in Yardrat's best interest. I didn't mean for this to happen. If I could take it back, I would. Their blood is on my hands, Soba. And if I'm still alive, I'll spend every waking moment trying to atone for my sins. This wasn't your fault, my friend. Wakame, Nori's brother, leader of the Yardrat army. Without knowing, Wakame commissioned the death of his own sister. A while later, Goku trains Asoba before Goku's alerted to the venerable Hushu, who's requesting an audience with Goku immediately. He goes on to say that he'll teach Goku the instant transmission technique. Not realizing Goku's within earshot, Soba asks the elder if he really wants to teach that technique to a Saiyan. But as we all know, Goku is a great hero, now of multiple planets even. Soba then says Goku isn't worthy of Hushu's training, dressed like that. He'll go get him a traditional Yardranian uniform. The elder goes on to inquire about the Super Saiyan form, but Goku says he can't access it at will. And the first time he even used it was only a few days ago against Frieza. Hushu further explains that he already read Goku's mind, and has come to understand that it was the brutal death of his friend Krillin that awakened the power sleeping within him. Goku also felt that anger when Nori was murdered. The elder claims that he can teach the Saiyan how to control that anger, so the transformation isn't spontaneous. Without control over that rage, Goku could become a danger to his allies just like he is to his enemies. Ready for the training, the elder tells Goku to show him the anger inside of him. But Goku has nothing to even be angry about. Thinking of friends lost in previous battles, Goku tries to summon this emotion, which sparks but does not ignite. Hushu tells Goku the anger he feels at this moment lacks control. He'll have to be able to remain calm while maintaining this anger. Soba returns and Goku gets a change of clothes. Hushu goes on to give Goku this message. Before I teach you instant transmission, let me give you some history. My people and that of the Yardrats are the only ones that know this technique. I taught it to them when I learned of Frieza's plans to conquer. This technique would allow them to safely evacuate their world and seek refuge on other inhabited planets. But in the beginning, the purpose of this technique was to allow for fast and convenient travel between planets with sentient populations so we could make contact. Thanks to this, we've been able to carry out numerous commercial exchanges and allow the development of our civilization. Sometimes I refused to teach it when I doubted the intentions of those who wanted to learn it. On my planet, some people have not hesitated to use it to commit criminal acts. That's why I've only since taught it to the Yardrat people, since they are a peaceful race. The training then begins. Everyone teleports away and Goku is tasked with finding them, but he fails to do so. After 2 months pass, Goku is finally able to master Super Saiyan, but still struggles with the instant transmission. The Namekian Dragon Balls were reactivated on Earth to allow the Earthlings to make their wishes. The return of the souls of Krillin and Goku were the first, but Purunga says he cannot resurrect souls that are still among the living. To their elation, they tell him just to bring him back to Earth then. Purunga appears to Goku stating his friend's wish. Goku declines to return, as we all know. While Goku continued to train, he was unaware that Vegeta had set off into space and was looking for him, while Frieza endured a terrible rehabilitation in order to take his revenge. 23 days later, King Cold receives news that Vegeta has been spotted attacking one of his military bases. The AWOL Shaima has also been seen on one of his planets. Apparently, Cold's entire squadron wasn't defeated. There seems to be a lone member that was on a separate mission when the fight ensued. With Cold's permission, he vows to avenge his comrades and take out the traitor Shaima. In the process, they have mistaken Vegeta for the Saiyan responsible. Cold tells him to bring back the head of that monkey, and if he fails, it will be his head on a spike. And so he launches into the void of space. On planet Litz, Vegeta questions a downed soldier on the whereabouts of Goku. With no luck, he simply executes him. In the distance, he sees an attack ball land on the planet. Thinking it could be Goku, he heads in its direction. He quickly finds out it's not who he's looking for. Vegeta asks this man if he's a henchman of Frieza. The man introduces himself as Zarak, a member of Cold's elite squadron, and furthers by saying he has come to avenge the fallen military base. Vegeta doesn't seem to be bothered by Zarak's power, but the alien warrior retorts that Vegeta's power only registers 55,000. Laughing this off, Vegeta can't believe that some still rely on that weak technology as he powers up. Regardless of the power difference, Zarak knows he has no choice but to fight. While Vegeta respects his mindset, it quickly seems he's no match for the Saiyan. Zarak attacks from behind, which apparently ruins any respect Vegeta did have as he rips his arm off shortly after. Vegeta then asks, before killing him, if he knows anything about the Super Saiyan that defeated Frieza. Zarak tells Vegeta to not be stupid. A Saiyan defeating Frieza? Deciding he's of no use, Vegeta blasts the mercenary into oblivion as he states the Super Saiyan exists and he will be the next one. Vegeta decides to head back to Earth, unable to find Goku. On planet Frieza 73, things are about to change. Frieza trains vigorously, learning how to use his new body. Cold's army is able to discover that it was none other than Vegeta that defeated Zarak. Cold wonders if the Super Saiyan legend is to be believed. Putting his worries aside, he believes that Frieza will be able to handle it regardless. Noticing his father's anger, Frieza storms in saying his yelling is distracting. After a short conversation, Cold admits that they tracked down that traitor Vegeta, and he wanted to make him pay for defeating his son on Namek. Of course, Frieza just laughs this off, saying he killed Vegeta easily back on Namek, going on a rant. Those damn Saiyans. I was sure I had exterminated all of them, except the 3 that served me. I now have no choice but to believe that the legend of the Super Saiyan does exist, as I was defeated by a golden-haired Saiyan back on Namek. Anyway, that legend died with the explosion of the planet. Cold stands in shock, a golden-haired Saiyan, like the one that killed their ancestor, Lord Chilled. Cold takes this as the opportunity to let Frieza know that the Saiyan that defeated him lives. At first surprised, Frieza decides that this will only sweeten the moment he arrives on Earth to find the corpses of his friends and family. The 5th of August, back on Yardrat, it's been 2 months since Goku began to identify the auras that were moving around him. After all this time, he's finally able to completely visualize a person's aura and perfectly follow it with his mind. Having done enough work on ki visualization, Hushu would now like Goku to move on to teleportation itself. The Elder goes on to explain the basics of the technique. Determined, Goku clears his mind, finds Hushu's ki, visualizes, and nothing's happening. To the great displeasure of the Elder. Goku had been training for months to master instant transmission without much success. Fatigue, concentration, or hunger were the main reasons for his failing. At one point, he even considered giving up, but his fiery spirit pushed him to continue. The venerable Hushu, suffering an illness that affects his heart, fainted for the 2nd time. And if it wasn't fatigue or hunger that was the problem, it was precision.
On my planet you are, stranger. What are you doing?
Don't blame me. I had to find a reason for Goku's multiple failures. Here I did it with Yoda, a symbolic character of Star Wars, because I find the Yardrats resemble him a little bit. Especially because in the original version of Yardrats, the readers always called Hushu Yoda. That's a nice wink. June 7th, 764 was the day Goku finally mastered the art of instantaneous movement, but it was also a very tragic day for the Yardranian people. Goku searches for Hushu's ki as we find Soba next to him. It appears the Elder is dying. Goku gets the bad news and wants to know what he can do to save them, what they can do to save him. Happy to see his student mastering the instant transmission, Goku reaffirms the Elder that this situation is no longer about himself. Before he dies, Hushu tells Soba, "Thank you, my son. I'm Hushu, the last of the wise men of our native people. When our planet came under fire from Frieza's forces, I left for planet Yardrat to prepare our cousins, as well as ensure the continuation of the knowledge of our race. When I arrived with my family, your mother wanted me to teach you the secret techniques I had developed. I had refused for fear that it would fall into Frieza's hands if you ever decided to betray us and join Frieza's army. Like your brother Zindel. During the first assault of the Ginyu Force on planet Yardrat, I saw you surrender to them. I felt betrayed by what seemed like a lack of courage on your part. The people were safe, but they were enslaved, stripped of their freedom. Faced with the guilt and shame that gnawed at me, I felt my exile was the only option open to me. But then there was Goku and the attack of King Cold's forces. I could finally see the son I had always wanted, a true warrior who risked his life for others. The arrival of the Saiyan has changed you. You have grown, and I have found my pride. Soba, my son, thank you. Never forget who you are." As the life drains from Hushu, Soba asks for his father to forgive him for not having lived up to his expectations. Hushu's death brought sadness to the entire planet. Even Goku, who's usually so carefree, was saddened by the death of the one he called his master since he had been on this world. But he also felt great frustration at the fact that he could do nothing to prevent this. He who possessed such mighty power was once again helpless in the face of death of another friend. Hushu left this world, but his spirit and teachings continue to live on through his disciples and his son Soba. What happened to Shima? After suffering defeat at Son Goku's hands, she could not return to headquarters for fear of being killed by King Cold, so she deserted. Questioning her purpose in the universe, she decided to resume her desire to defend oppressed people in order to ease her conscience. But during one of her raids on a garrison of Frieza's soldiers, she was shocked to learn that Frieza was still alive. She then remembered the Saiyan that saved her life. She had to do something to repay her debt to him. Blasting off into space, she hopes it's not already too late. That's how Shima, ex-commander of Cold's elite squadron, left for planet Yardrat to warn Goku of the imminent departure of his sworn enemy Frieza for Earth. September 25th, 764, somewhere in the universe. Have you detected planet Earth?
Yes, it's located in the northern galaxy. My lord, we can be there in 20 days.
Very well. Let's go. I look forward to destroying Goku and his friends soon. The Super Saiyan will become a forgotten myth. Just then, Shima's attack ball flies right outside Cold's ship.
Your Majesty, a spaceship approaches. It's Shima.
Get me in touch with that ship. Contacting her, he says that he will soon kill her for betraying his empire. She laughs this off and says, "Don't fantasize. You'd have to kill that Super Saiyan first, and I doubt you're man enough." Cold then assures her death will be painful. He then says to stop the ship, he's going to kill her himself. But for some reason, Frieza objects. 5 days later, she lands on Yardrat. On the surface below, Soba and Goku continue to train. Soba asks Goku if he thinks he's strong enough now. "No doubt. I'd like to fight you when you're even stronger though." Soba says that's no fair. He can't go Super Saiyan. That's when they sense Shima's ki approaching. As the ship touches down, Goku says they need to hurry to the landing site before disaster strikes. Soba tells him that he wants to take her on himself this time. Before she can get 20 yards from her ship, she's greeted by the two. Though a little deterred by the icy welcome, she's glad they're still here. "What are you doing on planet Yardrat? Your last defeat wasn't enough." Explaining that she's not here to fight, she's here to give news to the Saiyan. The imminent arrival of Frieza and his father King Cold to planet Earth, to the immense horror of Goku. Shima says that if her estimate is right, Goku should be able to make it to Earth in 15 days if he leaves right now. She'll stay on this planet to help defend the Yardrats. Goku says that he needs the spaceship he came in as his friends are in danger, completely taking her word for it. A short 20 minutes later, Goku's ready to head back to Earth. "This is your spacecraft. It's programmed to go to Earth. I don't know how to thank you for what you've done for us, but please, finish this tyrant. His reign of terror must end." Shima states she'll do whatever it takes to earn their forgiveness, as she wishes Goku luck in defeating Frieza. "Don't you want to fight Frieza and his father?" "No thanks, they'll kill me easily." "Soba, thank you for everything. Take care. I hope to see you again someday." And with that, Goku finally begins his journey home. 15th of August, 764. Frieza and Cold arrive at planet Earth. Spurning his father's suggestion they just blow it up from space, Frieza wants to land on the planet to torture each one of Goku's friends individually. However, the gap between Frieza's ship and Goku's was narrowing. In 3 hours, Goku would arrive on Earth, but would it be in time to prevent the catastrophe that Frieza was planning? One by one, all of the Z-Fighters sensed Frieza's and his father's presence. The end of the world drew near. The faces of Earth's warriors contorted in fear as they felt the incredible power emanating from the ship as it approached their planet. A giant shadow eclipsed the sky as the spaceship descended into Earth's atmosphere, above the heads of Earth's warriors. They were forced to watch helplessly as the terrible tyrant of the universe came ever closer. Our heroes hid their ki to prevent being spotted from the few scouts and warriors that were on board Frieza's ship, as they began to assess their situation and form a plan. As Frieza's ship landed, the horror of our heroes was further magnified when they discovered that an equally sinister aura accompanied him. "We have 3 hours left before your Super Saiyan arrives. You want to wait for him?"
"Of course, father. We can take the time to flush out his little friends and kill them one by one."
Not one to hide, Piccolo arrives on the scene first, shortly followed by Vegeta and Gohan.
"If I have to die on this day, I'd rather go out having fought with all of my strength."
Saying he's glad to see them all here, Frieza wants to tell them only 2 things. First, Son Goku will arrive on Earth in 3 hours. Second, they won't live to see him killed. This information comes at quite a shock to everyone. Now that they know Goku's on the way, they actually have a chance. Merely for his entertainment, Frieza has all of his soldiers attack the 3. Piccolo tells Gohan to lead the soldiers to the others as they should be able to handle them. He and Vegeta are going to try to hold off King Cold and Frieza until Goku can arrive. Luring them away, Krillin instantly gets the idea and uses the solar flare technique, as Tien vaporizes him with a Kikoho. As Yamcha celebrates, Tien says this is no time to cheer and they need to go help Piccolo.
Kakarot arrives in 3 hours.
You think we'll survive until then?
I know it's a long shot, but you never know. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Frieza says he's going to take his time to slaughter all of them, wondering how long they'll last.
It's been a long time since I've had a good fight. I'm going to have some fun.
Piccolo and Vegeta power up as Cold sheds his armor. Vegeta's the first to dive into battle, as Cold quickly proves his strength. Even the Saiyan Prince admits that bastard hits hard.
So Vegeta, what happened to your Saiyan fire? Get up and show me what the Saiyan Prince is worth.
Vegeta vows to defeat him and Frieza if he has to destroy the planet. He fires a beam that almost acts as a distraction for Piccolo, but his attack is blocked as well. Even the two working together don't prove any match for Cold. Piccolo decides to stand back for a second, letting Vegeta take the lead while charging a special beam cannon. But Frieza is wise to his plan and chops off his arm before hitting him with a ki attack. Shortly after, Vegeta finds himself on the ground too, still in disbelief that he hasn't even been able to touch him yet. That's when Cold comes crashing down and begins to stomp on the Saiyan Prince. The humans feel both Vegeta and Piccolo fading fast. Krillin was only able to find a single sensu bean at Master Roshi's. They have to decide who to give it to. He remembers that back on Namek, he injured Vegeta in order to gain a power boost. Tien objects. You want to give that sensu bean to Vegeta? Have you forgotten what he did to us? But Yamcha takes Krill inside, saying that he fought alongside of him on Namek. Either way, unless Goku arrives, they're dead, so they might as well give it a shot. In agreement, the three jump into action. At the same time in space, Goku tries to sense him out, but he's still too far to get a read on anybody's ki. Just then, Vegeta regains consciousness. Immediately, he senses a power gain from the Zenkai boost after Krillin fed him the Senzu Bean. Krillin asks if he thinks he'll be able to win. Vegeta responds, "Let's find out."
Huh. We have newcomers. Do you know them?
No, father. They must be friends of the Saiyan. Piccolo's able to regenerate his arm and get back on his feet as Yamcha and Tien back him up. But Frieza tells him no matter how many of you vermin there are, you still have no chance of avoiding your planet's fate.
Don't count us out yet, Frieza. We're still alive.
In a shocking twist, both Tien and Yamcha power up a Kaioken. Away from the battle, Gohan can sense the change. Chaozu explains that they decided to defy King Kai's ban on the Kaioken technique. But Gohan remembers even when Goku used the Kaioken, it was no use against Frieza. Stepping down from the ship, Frieza says, "Brave Earthlings, I'll honor your stupidity by facing you myself." Piccolo tells them not to do anything reckless as they must resist until Goku arrives. But for whatever reason, Yamcha and Tien go after Frieza. Given his resiliency, Cold offers Piccolo a job, who says he'd rather die. Yamcha tells Tien to get ready for the crane combo. Yamcha, are you sure? Frieza, in all of his smugness, offers to give them a free shot. Yamcha is able to push him out into the open where Tien can deliver a Ki Koho. Although it manages to catch Frieza off guard, it doesn't do much damage. Krillin realizes that Tien is putting his life in danger as he delivers another attack. Tien falls to the ground depleted of all energy. All he managed to do was make Frieza mad. Yamcha, Krillin, and Gohan joined in the battle and decide to attack him with all they've got at once. But of course, even with this, Frieza doesn't believe they stand much of a chance. Regardless, they continue the onslaught. Piccolo hits Cold with a ki attack, telling himself not to give up. They need to hold on until Goku arrives. But Cold sneaks up behind him and chops the Namekian in half. Looking at his body on the ground, Cold wonders if he'll be able to regenerate from that state. Rushing to avenge his mentor, Krillin shouts out for Gohan to stop. Of all people, Vegeta kicks Gohan to the ground, stopping him from making a very bad mistake, telling him not to die needlessly. Cold asks the prince if he's finished his little nap. But ever the confident, Vegeta tells him to shut up and he's gonna show him his new power. Delivering an unguarded elbow to the face, but once again, it does nothing to the Galactic King. Shouting out that the prideful arrogance of Saiyans annoys him, he shoves Vegeta into a mountainside. Cold powers up what appears to be a finishing blow, as Vegeta can do nothing but curse him as he lies on the ground yet again. Gohan, Yamcha, and Krillin think that this will be the end. Cold launches the attack and it makes contact with the earth. Yamcha yells out to Krillin for them to retreat, but Krillin knows he can't just abandon his friends. But Frieza isn't even going to give them the option to consider it, as he fires his death beam at the both of them. That's when Cold's attack begins to waver, and what appears to be faux Super Saiyan, Vegeta begins to push back. In the confusion of Cold, he tries to keep his own beam at bay. Lunging through the attack, Vegeta plows through the Galactic King, killing him. Just for good measure, he then blasts him to pieces. Though victorious, Vegeta falls to the ground with no energy remaining. With he, Yamcha, Tien, Krillin, and Piccolo down, Gohan is the lone remaining warrior for planet Earth. He asks Piccolo if he thinks Goku will make it in time to save them, but Piccolo responds by telling him not to try anything and to just focus on saving himself. Frieza announces though he doesn't care that his father was killed, he refuses to accept the fact that you Saiyans continue to ridicule us. 2 hours and 30 minutes before Son Goku's arrival, Frieza tells Gohan that he does not plan on killing him now as he wants to kill him when Goku arrives, just to watch the terror contort in his face when he watches the life bleed from his son's eyes. But Gohan tells Frieza that he's not afraid of him, and he's not giving up. Piccolo begs Gohan to stop, but he rushes forward anyway, landing a combo before finishing it with a Masenko. Frieza fires back and lands a few shots of his own, alluring him just letting Gohan get in those hits. In space, Goku can feel Gohan's ki descending. He can also sense Chaozu heading towards Korin's tower, no doubt to get more Senzu beans. But Vegeta, Krillin, Piccolo, Tien, Yamcha, they're all near death. And back on Earth, Gohan remains persistent on lasting until Goku arrives. Frieza comments on his optimism, saying he really is his father's son. That's when he begins to charge up a death beam, saying this is the end for you, kid. He's able to dodge it, but it may just be the doing of Goku who manages to arrive just on time. Gohan's brought to tears by the sight of his father. Goku tells him to get everybody to safety and he's gonna finish this once and for all. But Frieza declares he's finally gonna have his vengeance. Goku furthers by saying that he sees that Frieza will never change now, and he's gonna take him out for the good of the universe and everybody under his oppression. While Frieza scoffs at this notion, he asks Goku how he managed to arrive so soon. His ship wasn't due to land for a few more hours. Explaining he's been on planet Yardrat mastering the instant transmission the last year, Frieza finds this interesting. He says the atmosphere of Yardrat is livable, but very toxic to organisms that are not native there. In other words, he may have survived the explosion of Namek, but he is slowly dying. Goku brushes this off by saying, "I'm either a lot stronger than you thought, or you're just straight up lying." Having enough talk, Frieza fires at Goku, who deflects it away like it's nothing. Though Frieza is able to get in a hit, Goku's able to get in a much better one. Backing off, Frieza notes the determination in Goku's blows, asking if he's finally taking him seriously. Regardless, he says that it's too late and he'll die along with this planet. But Goku tells him he was hoping that he would just see the power difference between the two of them and give up on his own. Showing off this difference, he lands several attacks before landing Frieza on the ground. Goku again asks what the point of all this is. He outclassed Frieza in every way, why is it that hard to admit defeat? That's when Frieza gets a sinister look in his face, saying that Goku is very naive. Goku realizes he plans to blow up Earth just like he did Namek. Firing several discs, Frieza says, "I wonder how you'll stop me, Super Saiyan." Easily dodging him, Goku quickly realizes this is only a distraction. As Frieza's in the air charging a death ball, Goku teleports right in front of him, telling him it's over. Firing away and absorbing Frieza's blast, Goku finally finishes what he should have finished on Namek. Peace had returned to planet Earth. It seemed that all was well. The Son Goku was facing an invisible enemy, a heart disease from planet Yardrat. Goku's excellent physical condition slowed the progression of the virus, but over time, it ate away at him, gradually making him weaker and weaker until finally, our hero breathed his last. Son Goku's death left an immeasurable void in the hearts of his closest family, his son Gohan and his wife Chi-Chi. The Dragon Balls did not have the power to restore him this time. But as one story ends, another begins. Son Gohan trained hard to become a powerful warrior in his father's image. Soon, he will face